Just like it was like this intersection of all of these feelings, and just to be there with everybody and to sit in the audience and to hear people.
Something genuinely shocking has surfaced, and the internet can't stop buzzing. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, Hollywood's so-called golden couple, are finally being exposed for who they truly are. The carefully polished image of perfection, the smiles, the jokes, the relationship goals facade is beginning to crumble. And this time, it isn't mere gossip. Court filings, witness statements, and even admissions from Ryan himself are painting a far darker picture. Let's begin with Ryan. At the Toronto International Film Festival, he was caught on camera snapping at a child reporter, an actual child. Instead of showing patience or kindness, he mocked the boy in front of a crowd, brushing him off with a smug laugh. Social media erupted. Fans called it cruel. Media outlets called it shocking. Ryan's team attempted to spin it, insisting he was pressed for time. But the footage speaks for itself. Humiliating a child has nothing to do with being busy. Meanwhile, Blake was in New York staging her own performance at a beauty event. She played the innocent, shy celebrity signing autographs, charming fans, and putting on the perfect act, but insiders say it was all part of a calculated strategy to maintain her victim persona. This is the same Blake Lively currently dragging Justin Baldoni into a baseless lawsuit, using her public image as America's sweetheart as a shield, even as her legal actions tell a much darker story. Justin Baldoni, by contrast, has remained consistently professional. He created a safe, respectful environment on the set of It Ends With Us and never tried to manipulate the narrative. But Blake and Ryan, they've been bending rules, staging PR stunts, and even pressuring witnesses to protect their egos. Now, with unsealed court documents and shocking revelations, including Ryan's candid confession, the meticulously crafted illusion they've built is collapsing. Fans and industry professionals alike are starting to see cracks in the golden couple facade. And if Ryan's behavior was concerning, the real scandal lies in Blake's attempts to twist the legal system, targeting Justin in ways that are increasingly exposed as manipulative and self-serving. Hollywood's perfect couple, the truth suggests a far more calculated, ruthless duo hiding behind the smiles. One of the most shocking twists in the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni saga involves actress Isabella Ferreira, a key witness. Officially, Blake wants her to testify about harassment, discrimination, and misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us. But here's the problem. Ferreira wasn't even present for most of filming. She was on set for only 4 days, never shared a scene with Blake, and publicly stated in multiple interviews that she felt safe, supported, and welcomed. She even emailed Baldoni afterward, thanking him for creating such a positive environment. So how is she suddenly a witness to harassment and discrimination months later? The timeline reveals everything. Blake subpoenaed Ferreira in February. By March, Ferreira quietly deleted all photos with Blake from her Instagram. By April, a Daily Mail insider confirmed she had no first-hand knowledge of any misconduct. Yet months later, she's abruptly pulled back into the spotlight, now changing her story. Many insiders believe Blake pressured her, and it fits the pattern. When Blake's legal strategy falters, she turns to PR stunts, staged fan interactions, and, potentially, witness manipulation. But Ferreira's statements will not go unchallenged. Under oath, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, will have full opportunity to depose her. If she lies, the fallout won't just land on her shoulders, it could obliterate Blake's entire case. The hypocrisy is unmistakable. Blake presents herself as the victim while dragging others into her fight. Yet all available evidence paints a very different picture. Justin Baldoni fostered a safe, respectful set, and Blake is attempting to rewrite history to protect her ego and her brand. While Blake Lively continues to play courtroom games, Ryan Reynolds has been making headlines for his own reckless behavior. At the Toronto International Film Festival, he openly admitted to leaking the original Deadpool test footage, something he had denied for more than a decade. And this wasn't a harmless, cheeky prank. Leaking studio material without permission is illegal. It jeopardizes the careers of crew members, destroys trust within studios, and can lead to long-term consequences across the entire production landscape. When the footage first appeared online in 2014, the director swore to Fox executives that he had nothing to do with it, even going as far as to write, "I swear on my daughter's life, I did not leak this." Meanwhile, Ryan allowed others to take the blame. For years he laughed off questions publicly, claiming he wasn't responsible. Now, as an untouchable Hollywood star, he casually admits the truth as if it's a charming little anecdote with no apology, no accountability, and no regard for those who faced backlash because of him. And it doesn't stop there. Ryan once told a story about filming an emotional scene with Denzel Washington when his phone rang mid-take. Instead of owning the mistake, he blamed a stuntman in front of the entire crew, letting someone else deal with the embarrassment while the audience laughed. This is the real Ryan Reynolds, a polished public persona masking a long history of bending the rules, dodging responsibility, and shifting blame onto others. Behind the jokes, the smiles, and the Instagram-friendly image, the cracks are widening. Both Ryan and Blake's carefully curated Hollywood identities are beginning to fall apart, and and the public, as well as the courts, are starting to notice. Ryan Reynolds has been under fire recently, and not for the reasons his publicists would prefer. While Blake Lively orchestrates a delicate attempt at a comeback, Ryan has been creating headlines for a string of missteps entirely of his own making. It's becoming increasingly clear that the pair share one defining trait: an unwavering determination to protect their egos at any cost, even if it means bending rules, betraying trust, or humiliating others. At TIFF, Ryan stunned audiences when he snapped at a child reporter. Rather than showing patience or kindness, he mocked the boy with a smug laugh in front of a crowd of adults. Social media exploded. Fans called the behavior disgraceful, and media outlets condemned it as unacceptable. Ryan's team rushed to spin the incident by claiming he was simply pressed for time, but the video spoke for itself. Humiliating a child cannot be brushed aside with an excuse. Meanwhile, Blake Lively attempted to stage her own comeback in New York. She appeared at Glossy Pop NYC, a beauty event meant to promote her haircare line. Yet for someone who claims she is too famous to feel safe, only around 5 fans were outside, and several looked more like staged extras than genuine supporters. One viral clip even showed a woman holding her phone backwards while pretending to take a selfie with Blake, prompting widespread speculation. Were these people paid plants? Inside the event, matters only became more awkward. Multiple attendees described Blake as nervous, rambling, and repetitive. The Daily Mail ran a headline branding her appearance very awkward. One insider said she spoke too quickly, gave long-winded answers, and even apologized mid-sentence for facing the wrong side of the room. Blake blamed shyness, but this is the same woman who once dominated interviews, lounged confidently across sofas, and snapped at journalists. Suddenly, she is playing the timid victim, and no one is buying it. Her PR team immediately switched into crisis mode. Outlets like Vogue, People, and Glamour praised her outfit as trendsetting and eccentric. In reality, it was bland at best and awkward at worst, prompting online jokes comparing it to something a grandmother might wear. This was not a comeback, it was damage control. Blake is desperately trying to divert attention from her legal troubles with Justin Baldoni, presenting staged humility and tightly curated photo ops. But the public is seeing straight through the act, and the backlash is only intensifying. Ryan, meanwhile, is hardly faring any better. His Canadian Pride t-shirt stunt at TIFF sparked outrage. He promoted the shirt as being designed by a Canadian artist, yet it was sold exclusively through an American store that doesn't even ship to Canada. At a time when Canadians are striving to support local businesses amid new tariffs, fans felt misled and manipulated. Then came the Eugene Levy moment. Levy, a beloved national treasure, approached Ryan on the red carpet, and Ryan brushed him off with a condescending smirk, saying, "Oh, it's you. Welcome to the fry," accompanied by a mocking butterfly hand gesture. Fans swiftly labeled him smug, dismissive, and out of touch. Ryan's involvement in the John Candy documentary added even more fuel to the fire. Although listed as a producer, many critics argue he essentially hijacked the project, shifting the focus onto himself and even framing the story around his own mother rather than John Candy. His actual contributions remain unclear, yet his positioning at the center of the documentary has sparked considerable backlash. Both Ryan and Blake are now facing mounting public scrutiny, not merely because of lawsuits or individual slip, but because of a long-standing pattern, bending rules, staging narratives, and protecting their polished public image at the expense of others. The golden couple facade is cracking, and the world is finally beginning to see who they really are. His actual contribution remains unclear, yet he positioned himself as the centerpiece, creating an additional wave of backlash. Step back, and the pattern becomes unmistakable. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively aren't Hollywood's golden couple, they're Hollywood's manipulators. Ryan humiliates a child, leaks illegal footage, disrespects icons, and hijacks tributes. Blake disappears for months, then re-emerges acting shy and innocent while dragging witnesses like Isabella Ferrer into baseless lawsuits. When the stories don't align, she simply doubles down, relying on her PR machine to rewrite reality. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni doesn't need spin. He's professional, steady, and has always maintained a safe, respectful environment on set. The contrast couldn't be clearer. One side bends rules, manipulates public perception, and hides behind PR stunts. The other works ethically, consistently, and with integrity. The public is waking up. Comments, backlash, and headlines all point to the same truth. Hollywood's golden couple is tarnished, and their carefully constructed empire of manipulation is collapsing. Even mainstream outlets, once their allies, are now capitalizing on the backlash. Page 6 made excuses for Ryan while simultaneously posting the video of him mocking a child, sending comments into chaos, with tens of thousands calling it disgusting engagement gold. Likewise, Vogue and People covered Blake's event but deliberately left comments open, knowing public criticism would generate clicks. Blake and Ryan's PR teams are desperate to push an image of control, kindness, and glamour, But the press is no longer playing along. It's exploiting their downfall for traffic. The illusion is breaking. The power couple can no longer rely on glossy coverage, and the public isn't buying their carefully staged narratives. When Ryan humiliated a child, nobody was laughing. People were furious. When Blake's awkward performance went viral, social media exploded with mockery and criticism. The bottom line is simple. The facade is crumbling. Hollywood's golden couple isn't charming, kind, or flawless. They're calculating, manipulative, and increasingly exposed. The backlash isn't slowing, and it shows no sign of stopping. Something genuinely shocking has happened in Hollywood, and the internet can't look away. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, long praised as the perfect golden pair, are finally being exposed for who they truly are. Their polished image of smiling perfection is falling apart, and this time, it's not gossip. It's court documents, viral videos, and first-hand accounts converging. Blake's recent public appearances only made things worse. At Glossy Pop NYC, a beauty event promoting her haircare line, she appeared nervous, rambling, and awkward. Attendees described her as repetitive and unsure, while videos of her interactions with fans quickly went viral. One clip showed a woman holding a phone the wrong way round while taking a selfie with Blake, fueling widespread speculation that the fans were staged. Instagram and Reddit erupted with thousands of mocking comments. The Daily Mail described her return as awkward, and the comment section tore her apart. Many people accused her of using the lawsuit to play the victim while simultaneously monetizing her brand. The public simply isn't buying it. Every photo or headline now sparks outrage, turning what should be supportive media coverage into open forums for criticism. Blake and Ryan have lost control of the narrative, and no amount of PR spin can pull it back. The controversies surrounding them aren't being viewed as isolated incidents, they're being seen as a pattern. Commentators have long accused Ryan Reynolds of manipulation and avoidance of accountability. Years ago, the leaked Deadpool test footage sparked debate about who was responsible, with some suggesting his involvement may have put others' careers at risk while he distanced himself from the fallout. On set, he reportedly blamed a stuntman for a phone interruption he caused himself. And now, after being filmed, appearing to mock a child reporter, many feel he brushed it off while his team attempted to shape the narrative. Again and again, critics claim that when something goes wrong, someone else is left to take the blame. Blake's tactics, according to her detractors, appear equally calculated. She tends to withdraw during scrutiny, only to re-emerge in carefully managed public appearances, posing with fans, acting reserved and innocent, and relying on flattering coverage. She included Isabella Farah in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, despite Farah stating she never witnessed any misconduct. When Farah's account failed to align with the story being pushed, observers say Blake simply doubled down, relying on PR to reframe the situation and maintain her image of victimhood. Together, Ryan and Blake have, in the eyes of many, perfected the art of distraction. They present themselves as Hollywood's golden couple, glamorous photo shoots, red carpets, charming interviews, while critics argue that behind the scenes they manipulate narratives, exert pressure, and bend rules. But the public is beginning to connect the dots. What once seemed like effortless charm now comes across to many as arrogance. Confidence has started to look like entitlement, and the supposedly perfect couple is increasingly viewed as highly strategic and at times manipulative. To their harshest critics, the verdict is clear. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are not the wholesome, generous pair portrayed by their PR machinery, but rather self-serving and willing to deflect blame onto others. Ryan is accused of humiliating children, leaking sensitive material, disrespecting colleagues, and avoiding responsibility. Blake, meanwhile, is said to have turned victimhood into a brand, relying on awkward viral moments, conveniently timed fan interactions, and questionable witnesses to support her legal claims. Together, they create distraction while their public image appears to fracture. In contrast, Justin Baldoni is increasingly portrayed as the grounded figure in all this. Supporters say he fostered a safe, professional environment while working on It Ends With Us, and is now being dragged through what they describe as a circus of conflicting stories, PR spin, and character attacks. Baldoni, they argue, doesn't require staged selfies or orchestrated appearances. His work and conduct speak for themselves, which is why public sympathy continues to shift towards him. This isn't just another Hollywood controversy. It's being viewed as a cautionary tale about power, manipulation, and the inevitable clash between image and reality. Blake and Ryan built careers on polished presentation, but the facade appears to be slipping. The world is watching, and the backlash shows no sign of slowing. So the question is this: can Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively withstand this wave of exposure, or is this the beginning of the end for Hollywood's most criticized power couple? Share your thoughts below. Hit subscribe and ring the bell. You won't want to miss the next twist in this unfolding saga.